Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror. Pete here with you. Be sure before we get started, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not yet, for plenty of wrestling coverage. Today we're talking WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania goes Vegas. And I took some notes yesterday, jotted down some thoughts as I was kind of processing both nights here. And I'll run through my thoughts with you. And I want you, as we go along, to leave yours in the comments below. Now, mind you, these were written before Raw took place last night. So let's go here. Number one, the build to WrestleMania this year has been one of the most lackluster ever that I've seen, and I would say sans the COVID era WrestleMania, which I didn't even watch. I watched maybe a couple spots from that era and couldn't bear to see what it looked like with empty arenas. It was painful to watch. But yeah, the build to this was bad. There was little nuggets of goodness in there, but we'll get there. Overall, just a boring build. Triple H, this is number two. Triple H running creative exposes his complete and utter lack of vision. Now, there's a few things out of this that, came to fruition on Monday night. One of them, I will say, is Braun Breaker joining with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins in sort of a new dangerous alliance, and that opens up a lot of possibilities with who else could join that faction. Obviously, with the Becky Lynch heel turn post Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan winning the titles, the tag team titles, back from Lyra and Becky, because they're hot-shotting him around. I say something good about Triple H, then I have to say something bad, because I don't like hot-shotting titles. I know sometimes it's okay, but in this case, you didn't even need to change the titles to get this storyline across. I think the heel turn would have been much more impactful at WrestleMania, especially given she returned. And I know it's like, oh, we want to give her a big babyface return. No, that's stupid. Give her the babyface return, and then post-match, you could do the match the exact same way, have her turn heel after the loss. And yeah, I understand maybe they just wanted to give Raquel and Liv the belts for the fourth time to say, oh, we're four-time women's tag team champions, and, give the fans something on Monday Night Raw. But Raw was good last night. It was one of the better Raw after WrestleManias that I've seen in a long time, especially better than last year, where we started out with a 45-minute Bloodline promo and very little wrestling, very little else happened on that episode. We had only 3 matches this time, but it was more, there was a lot more going on, and on Raw anyway. So Triple H, he'll do something good, then he'll do something bad because he's a complete lunkhead. Number 3, the matches, 80% of them, I would say, on both nights, were TV quality bouts that had mediocre to zero build. Obviously, the Randy Orton and Joe Hendry, zero build there, but we had the Randy Orton's Open Challenge issued, so I didn't necessarily mind that, and I loved seeing Joe Hendry. That was fantastic, and I know a lot of people in the IWC are crying about them burying the TNA World title. First of all, you neckbeards, settle down. We all know that you're just pissed off because your mom ran out of Hot Pockets and Instacart won't be there for a while to deliver them. So just relax. Your Hot Pockets will be there, chubs. There was more eyes on the TNA World title on Sunday night than there has ever been before. So I would just calm down with all the complaining about Joe Hendry, getting jobbed out to Randy Orton. Number one, huge pop on his entrance and during his introduction. He got a little bit of shine. What did you expect to happen? 3 minutes of TV time on WrestleMania for Joe Hendry and the TNA World Heavyweight title is fantastic exposure for them and the company. And, Yeah, that Triple H, and he said to Hendry, this won't be your last WrestleMania moment, which I hope it's not. I like Joe Hendry, and I believe in him. Number 4, where was The Rock? Why was he persona non grata? To include him and then not have him appear at WrestleMania 41 was an absolute travesty and a disservice to the storytelling because it's so inconsistent. It's as bad as when he came out at the Raw Netflix premiere and was basically glazing Cody Rhodes, and then he's his enemy again, and then he just doesn't appear at WrestleMania to the build. It's like, what the actual hell are we doing with this? I hope he's gone from this now. I don't want to see The Rock in this anymore. It just comes across as contrived, and it just kind of makes him out to be a massive, like, narcissistic douche who only appears when he wants to. And it's like that it ruins the storytelling aspect of it, is my entire problem with him not showing up like that. Number 5, Travis Scott's inclusion was a complete joke, and his self-indulgent entrance in the middle of the main event was distracting at best. Like, I hope he was aware that the match was going on. He took his sweet old time getting down to the ring, with his replica belt, and it was just ridiculous. Although I did watch Stevie Richards' breakdown of him taking the Crossroads, and he did take that move pretty well. In hindsight, after watching Stevie break it down more, he did. He took it pretty well for being untrained. But if I was Cody, I still would have and I don't even like Cody, and I think he should have stiffed the shit out of him. I really do. He still owes him a receipt for that, the eardrum thing. I mean, Jesus, dude. Paul, Triple H, whatever you want to call him, he basically was talking up Travis Scott during the media scrum about how big of a fan he is and how much it means to him. So, kid in a candy store, I still don't see the benefit of having him involved other than it's the celebrity involvement that they picked. It's this new generation, and this is the way that they get, new eyes on the product, is bringing in a guy like a Travis Scott, who is a, very well-known musician. So I see what they're doing there. And like I said, there's good and bad that Levesque does. Unfortunately, most of the time his creative is not very great or original. Because even, as I said, with the Dangerous Alliance, which they're not calling it that. That's just kind of what we're affectionately calling it. Forming a new Dangerous Alliance, that's been done. And if they follow the formula, I think they're going to follow with it, where Seth does get the heavyweight title or one of the titles, and then you have the rift between him and Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker, leaves the stable to become babyface and feuds with Seth Rollins over the title. They did that in Evolution, and a lot of other stables too. Nothing original, but I like the presentation of it because I want to see Bron Breakker, and as I've been saying for almost a year now, put a rocket on this kid's back and shoot him to the moon because he's ready to take this company into orbit. Number 6, and this is in regards to Becky Lynch's return being very telegraphed. As soon as they took Bayley off the show, you knew it was going to be Becky Lynch coming back. There was reports she was in Vegas, and it was just contrived. They couldn't save with Lyra, her piped-in crowd noise during her intro, because nobody says woo during her da-da-da. Nobody says woo. They have to pipe that in because nobody gives a shit. Every time Lyra Valkyria steps out there, there's maybe 10 people that are fans. And I hate saying that about her because I'm sure she's a lovely person. I really am. And I say that with all sincerity. She seems like a sweetheart. And I kind of felt bad for her at the press conference after WrestleMania, the scrum, because Becky Lynch pretty much dominated the microphone and her daughter was talking the whole time, which is why I always just laugh. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear your stories from your kid. I know, your kid's adorable, awesome, but we're not, Lyra got no chance to even talk. If they want her to get over, it's give her a chance at the media scrum to talk. But no, we had to listen to Becky Lynch. Oh, this is my daughter Rue, and that whole. I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't. And the loss again. taken by Liv and Raquel just so they could call her Lyra Two Belts for one night and then turn around and lose them the next night so Becky can turn heel. You should have done the heel turn right there. Have Lyra and Becky lose, then do the fucking heel turn. Number one, she gets a big baby face pop, comes back, and then you get a big heel turn out of it, and then that can lead into the feud, which they're obviously going to have over the IC title in another attempt to get Lyra over, and it's not going to work. Number 7, Cody vs. Cena was a god-awful main event that never got out of second gear. I like the result, but it was just the road they took to get there was poor at best. And I think this did a disservice to Cena. I'm not saying we're going to get 5-star matches out of Cena anymore, but you're definitely not going to get a 5-star match out of Cody Rhodes. And, yeah, it was just, like I said, I like the result, but Travis Scott's involvement kind of took away from overall seeing John win his 17th title. Like, I don't care if he won it dirty. I expected a dirty finish. But that should have been The Rock as opposed to Travis Scott, which I've been saying for a long time. Number 8, Io Sky retaining and pinning Bianca Belair was shocking because Bianca rarely eats a pin. Io is an undersized, absolutely boring champion who will drag the credibility of the belt down to her lower mid-card status, and you cannot change my mind on that. I don't care. I counted, I don't know how many times last night in the Stephanie Vakir match that we had to stand and wait, or lay and wait for Io Sky to climb up and post and pose and do her dumb shit on the turnbuckles before the genius of the skies, Yo-Yo Ma, would do anything. And I can't buy this 110-pounder. I just can't. It makes me laugh. That's the equivalent of Darby Allin winning the world title in AEW, just with the size differential. Number 9, Drew McIntyre deserves more than a throwaway match against mid-card Damian Priest. Change my mind, you won't. The guy's done the best heel work out of anybody in the entire company over the last year, and he's been rewarded with literally nothing but garbage. But he makes the best of it in every opportunity he gets. Number 10, Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental title and gaining the crowd's cheers was a highlight, and he made the most of it. You know, he had left and came back to the ring basically for an encore, which I like. This guy had nuclear heat as a heel, and in mid-match, you know, the crowd turned, and he was fire. I was so happy to see that, and his work with the guys afterwards, Big E, he was, you know, I'm already a better Intercontinental champion than you, to Big E was hilarious. I loved it, and Big E looked like he was kind of pissed. And number 11, I touched on this earlier. I said burying Joe Hendry. I love Randy Orton, you know, and this is from the perspective of, did they offer up Joe Hendry? This gave TNA fantastic exposure, so I don't want anybody to look at it like that. And it was great for Joe Hendry, too. It really was. Did you expect him to go on there and win against Randy Orton? It wasn't going to happen. Number 12, Tiffany retaining over Charlotte was the correct call, and they need to be done with their program. Their outfits, their ring gear looked too close together. It was just ridiculous. When they were rolling around, you couldn't tell who was who at times until you saw from the back, and then you're like, oh, that's definitely Charlotte because she has no acetol syndrome. Number 13, Jey Uso basically, you know, buried Gunther and proceeded to act unprofessional while being drunk as fuck at the media scrum. Sounded completely incoherent. And I said he needs to drop the belt as a punishment. I think that would be funny if they did that, but they won't because he sells a lot of merch and he's over with the younger crowd. So they're going to do something. Sami Zayn's going to turn heel. They teased it last night on Raw. You can see it coming a mile away before Big Jim came down and they celebrated together. You can see it. 14, New Day over the War Raiders for the tag titles was an afterthought. Nobody gave a shit about that match. I don't give a shit about the New Day. I never have. The War Raiders, I'm not a big fan of theirs either. But these tag titles got treated with little to no respect at all, which needs to be rectified. Number 15, LA Knight losing his U.S. title to Jacob Fatu is great for Jacob, but I honestly believe this is the end of the road for Knight's momentum. The stop-start booking, dropping the title to Shaky Nakamura, then gaining it back, only to lose it again, effectively kills everything he's done over the last year and a half to 2 years, and I'm pretty sure that's it for Los Angeles Night. He'll probably return to mid-card status. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about this. Number 16, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. 3 men with hot wives fighting over a fat Jewish guy. Sounds like Russo booking, but surprisingly, it wasn't. Heyman did a double turn. We could see that coming. It was on Punk, then Reigns, siding with Rollins. It was predictable, but effective. I liked it, and I really think that this keeps something hot, at least, because you've got 3 of the top guys in the company here going over, and over again. One guy gets the advantage, other guy gets the advantage. Heyman now with Rollins and, of course, Braun Breaker. It's entertaining. I do like that. I do feel that that was one of the highlights of the weekend, which overall, like this WrestleMania, let's see here. We should probably score this thing. If I had to score this WrestleMania on a 1 to 10 scale, I am giving this WrestleMania overall, objectively, a score of probably 5.5 out of 10. It wasn't great. There was a lot of filler, a lot of TV matches, and just an overall lack of gravitas for, what is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. And I think that does a disservice. That being said, the Raw after WrestleMania was almost better than Night 2, sans a few instances. So, yeah, I know a lot of people are high on the Io Sky going over in retaining, but I think still Cena winning was the highlight of the entire weekend. Plus the triple threat from Night 1. Yeah, that was your best, but I give this 5.5 out of 10. That being said, it's your turn to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think. How far off base do you think I am, or do you agree with me saying WrestleMania was a 5.5 out of 10? Let me know in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe if today's the day I've earned it. Ding that bell for notifications so you know when we go live or upload another video. Channel memberships available. Patreon is out there. If not, just subscribe. It's free. It always will be. I'm Pete from Wrestling with Horror. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember, it's always better to burn out than fade away.